Hello friends, family and other creatures of the sea. Today we'll have a look at a game played between, in the bottom right, spawning as the red Protoss player, it's going to be PtitDrogo. And in the top left, it's going to be none other than Kaisi Gaming's Spirit, player formerly known as Sol, of course. And now Spirit it is. Map is Pride of Altaris, which is one of the 5 new maps. This is the largest map I believe that there is, and I haven't seen this play out a whole lot in PvT, but it is a rather large map. It has a Reaper wall that is reminiscent of Romanticide. Triple building wall, can then hide a big building behind it. Now there is some extra Reaper jump spots though, so you have this little spot that can be tricky, and you can just walk in the front, so this also needs to be covered. So even though you can cover a big ramp, doesn't necessarily mean you're in a buzzing position here. This probe is going to make its way across the map. We have the probe getting sent down as well. This was just to check to make sure that there's no eBay downstairs. As there's no engineering bay downstairs, Drogo decides to pull that worker back up. So we turn on the music. A second depot is going to get built here. Can you actually see the gas from here? I think you can, no? It feels like you should be capable of. Okay, the move that Drogo is pulling here is really cool. He's patrolling his worker so that it's always at maximum acceleration speed. And he just wants to make sure that there's no marine. So at 146 he leaves and he says, okay, this is a Reaper opener, rather than it being something like a marine first. Now, it's going to be going into a low ground CC, Sol that is. So a bit of a mind game, and perhaps Drogo will play more careful than he should. As versus this, you just want to open up standard. I wouldn't... Ooh, can go for Warpgate here. I was going to say, usually against... If you don't get in, you kind of have to play Stargate, because it could be a lot of things. Now, in case of a Reaper opener, that's not necessarily true. Against Reapers, you can play Twilight, you can play basically anything. Well, first Adept is going to shade out, and is going to find this Reaper. Reaper will come in and will be able to figure out what tech is going to be put down. Might still be able to jump out as well. No, there was an opportunity there, that's for sure. There still might be an opportunity though, as we see the shade won't be... Oh my god! Stalker was getting locked in and popped on the wrong side of the road here. That means that this Twilight Council is going to be quite delayed. So an interesting start here. And the funny thing is that Sol, of course, still did scout that Twilight Council, so even though the Twilight did get cancelled, it didn't get replaced by a different tech structure. That's sometimes what's important to remember here. Second gateway going down, as well as a second Stalker. So it's going to be triple units before the warp gate finishes up. And a robotics facility as well here for Drogo. And we'll see what he gets out of that. It could be for the quick prism, could be just for your observers. Maybe he wants to play 2-base Blink Colossi. All of these things are completely viable. On the other hand, out of Sol, what do we have here? It seems like it's just going to be a mine drop. Did he open up with a car here? No, just straight mines. Barracks going down after that third depot. Curious to see what he's going to be doing. We see... Does this barracks go down? No, first you get the medevac, right? Yeah, medevac, and then we'll see that the third barracks hopefully be constructed soon. Curious to see if he's going to go for a third mine or straight into tech lab. Okay, it's going to be a very rapid tech lab. And that's cool to see as well. We have 8 marines out currently. E-base being built on the low ground before that third barracks. Okay, cool to see, cool to see. Love to see it even. It's going to be a very fast +1 here. Just in time for that first push. With that stim and combat. Of course, you don't need to build barracks 2 and 3 at exactly the same time here, as stim needs to start earlier than combat shield, and that's most likely what's going to be happening here. Tech lab now is being built on this starport, and I'm kind of expecting stim to start immediately. Here comes the double mine drop. Do note it is a double mine drop. Ooh, what is that? That's an Artosilope. A rare mythical creature. First observer making its way across the map. There is a spotter pylon here, and it will be able to spot out this medevac. And even though the Twilight Council got cancelled, this mine drop is hitting so darn late that it's still almost going to finish in time. Oh, this is a tricky area. I'm not quite sure if Spirit wants to continue going on in the same. This seems like a safe spot, doesn't it? Between the natural and the third, yeah. There's a lot of these spots on all of them maps. Look at that. Behind the natural. We have an area over here, lots of dead space that is difficult to reach, which is why I think Stargate is so powerful on these new maps against Terran. So powerful. Of course, not what we're seeing here. We're on 4 gas, by the way. That's a lot of gas. Also going into 4 gates. Immortal. Feels like there's a possibility of a Robo Bay here. A couple of sentries, perhaps, into a Robo Bay. It is a real possibility. I'm confused why Drogo decides to mine this much gas and not throw down any type of major tech route, like whether it's a Robo Bay or a Templar Archives. No charge either on the way yet. This is very curious. I mean, without charge. Okay, here comes charge, here comes the Templar Archives. It's not gonna finish in time for that first push, huh? Armory is being constructed really quickly as well. That is interesting because we have these first 2 medevacs out and we have this first push out at this moment. And usually I'd say you get your +1, your 1 armor, but we get a quick armory, which makes me believe that we might have a mine drop heading out somewhere. Do we see that? No. We have 3 medevacs. Oh wait, we have this mine drop still, right? That's kind of cool. 2 mines in that, and the armory could definitely help there. Of course, armory also helps with keeping the mines alive at the front. Now, Drogo needs to be careful here, as he doesn't have charge yet. This is an army that is solely relying currently on force fields and range units, which they do really synergize well, right? Like, this is an army that synergizes extremely well. We're gonna get 1 hit on, we're gonna get a 2nd hit, and now this mine is still going to die. So, cute little move there with the armory, but Drogo already had that observer on the medevac the entire time through. And now Drogo is going to try to survive. Mediocre hits, but hits nonetheless. Does pull away a bunch of the workers. Good rotations out of Drogo, realizing what is going on here. Without any vision, this is actually quite impressive. Just good game sense, I suppose. 3rd base is about 70% at this point here for Spirit. Is this a 4 mine drop? This is classic Spirit, by the way. This is the type of move that if you ever play against Spirit, this is the reason why you build cannons in every single mineral line. Because you just know that the quad mine drop at some point is going to show up. It's gonna hit hard, alright? It's gonna hit hard. We do have +2 attack on the way, no armor upgrades yet. So armor is getting delayed in favor of the fast +2 attack. Cool move. 2 forges now finally going down for Drogo. There is a possibility that +2 will be done for the Terran player and no upgrades will be done yet for the Protoss. That's of course a scary thing to think about. For Templar are here. Storm is halfway done. Here comes the mine drop. See how ready Drogo is. Oh, he's chronoing out something. I'm not quite sure what. 2 mines into the 3rd base. Will unburrow both of them, and well, both of them will also go down without shooting. That's kind of sloppy. 1 mine into the natural, and then an extra mine will need to go into the main base. This could have been 3 different bases being attacked at the same time, but it ends up only being a single mine really doing much of anything, getting 2 kills. So good defense here out of Drogo, who is floating a fair amount of money on 9 gateways. And he wants to get a 4th base, but he can't really get there yet. That's why he's floating at least a little bit of that money. Of course, some needs to go into pylons. Another supply block here out of Drogo, as Spirit kind of has been deciding the pace of this game. But the pace of this game just hasn't been very high. And also a big misread here out of Spirit, who, because he's not really been big on the aggression so far, and doesn't really know what his opponent is doing, isn't aware that his opponent has a bunch of Templar. So rather than going straight for Ghost, he went for 6 Viking. Now Vikings are good against Templar in a Prism, but what's even better is if you have some Ghost against a pure Gateway army. Now these Storms are going to kill a couple of workers, so about as useful as a Widow Mine. These 4 Templar in a Prism, and now actually Drogo kind of had danger of losing all of these. Needs to recall. Might lose 1 of these. Nah, okay. Never mind. Viking doesn't have that high DPS. Vikings are good, but that would be pushing it, I guess. Is that the 2nd Robo? Yep, 2nd Robo Bay. 1-1 upgrades as well as the Prism here. On the way once again for Drogo. So very consistent in rebuilding that Prism. +2 has finished up here for Spirit. And does he have the upgrade for the Ghost? No, he doesn't. So these Ghosts are vanilla Ghost without any major upgrades. Zealot's gonna make its way across the map. Now, Sol is just posturing this entire game, but never really trying to do any big damage. It surprises me. It's probably because he threw away, well, what is it, like 10 mines at this point? 8 mines for killing like 2-3 workers. It just becomes so difficult to put on any major pressure. So rather than trying to put on pressure, he decides just to keep some type of map control and then fight in the middle. I'm not a huge fan of this style. It seems a little bit gimmicky, trying to throw away all of your mines. But I mean, he gets in a position where this is definitely playable. This is definitely a playable position. We have +3 attack on the way already. Disruptors now are coming out. Fusion core on the way for Spirit as well. So it's kind of ready with them transitions. Just needs to start those ship weapons ASAP. Already has +1 ship weapons. If you can get +2 ship weapons at a decent time, that would be huge. Now Spirit could be moving in here. Oh, I think if he was a little more attentive, he definitely could have sniped that. Now he's gonna go in for the snipe. Yep, there we go. Takes out the robotics facility as well. So that's less disruptor production here for Drogo, who's still kind of stuck on these 1-1 upgrades on a slightly mediocre army. If the AoE doesn't hit, and honestly there's not that much AoE, I think Spirit can take a really nice fight here. The problem is his army is kind of bruised up. We're seeing a snipe. You're gonna need some EMPs here, buddy. I don't think snipes are going to quite cut it. EMPs are going to be the name of the game, as Spirit needs to heal up his bruised army a bit. Has a lot of money in the bank, but lacking the gas currently. It's mining off of 6 gases, but these 2 gases not quite saturated. Macro hasn't been too hot here. Out of Spirit. Should have been maxed a long while ago. Now we have the 3 extra barracks coming in. We already had 2 CCs building and still 1500 minerals in the bank. That's a lot of cash. There really is a lot of cash right there. As Drogo now has DTs on the map. These DTs, they might be able to get something valuable done. We have a mine, we have a liberator as well out, and we kind of have this planetary over here, which should be useful. These 2 zealots are looking for some damage. I love this liberator, by the way. Such a good call. Just defends so effectively against run-bys. Yes, you'll lose some workers, but you will clean it up without really having to pay much attention to it, which is what makes it so nice. You just don't have to look at it. It's gonna do his job. Oh my god. Talking about not looking at it, Sol definitely not looking at his army there. It's gonna tank a complete storm to his face. Now a couple of disruptor shots. Not quite going to connect with big chunks of the army. Still get a decent trade though. Drogo really shouldn't be getting good trades here. His army kind of sucks. He has bad upgrades. Spirit sees this zealot. Now decides to unsiege the liberator. This liberator, alright, that looks like too much for me. There's no turret yet here, which means that these DTs won't even be able to be seen. Interesting blink forward. We'll be able to take out every single SCV because of it. At the same time, we have a couple of disruptors moving forward. Spirit just in a whole lot of trouble, honestly. Spirit just in a whole lot of trouble. Loses his base, doesn't even lift it. Yeah, that's just extremely painful. No turret here for vision, and now Spirit is in a bad position after being in... He never really was in firm control. It just felt like Drogo didn't really care much about map presence. And the moment that Drogo started caring about map presence, he just kind of took it, and there's nothing that Spirit felt like he could do. Now these liberators need to defend this base. I'm not quite sure if that is going to be possible, because the moment you defend this base, all of a sudden your fort base is very open. These DTs are just squeezing through. There is a turret here, which should be helpful. Liberators coming in from the side, blink forward out of Drogo. Good EMP on a lot of these DTs. Disruptor balls are not quite going to hit. A couple of these disruptors will go down. Spirit definitely struggling here, trying to stay alive. 138 supply against 168. Once the next warping comes in, I think Drogo once again will be able to push forward in a major way. 6 disruptors out, 16 stalkers and 4 immortals. 9 DTs as well, still on the map. Looking perhaps for a snipe on that, well, what is this? The 5th base. Unit lost in favor of Drogo as well. Liberators are setting up in good defensive positions. And let's take a look at that army supply at this point. Oh, hello, hello, hello. A siege up. Sol? Spirit? Oh, there we go. Finally sieges up. A little bit of a slow response there, though. Just keeps unsieging Liberators, even though it isn't necessary most of the time. At the same time, this base did end up going down. 7 DTs also fell, though, so planetary for 7 DTs. not actually that ineffective of a trade, but just because Sol doesn't have that much money and doesn't have that many workers, probably is an okay-ish trade here for Drogo, who is still has a bit of a bank. He's going into a Stargate, 3-3 upgrades are about to finish up, and I think Drogo just is in firm control of this game at this point. Has pretty decent map vision, not the greatest, but good enough. Sensor tower finishes up on this base. I feel like this is more of like a, hello, I have a base here, please come and kill it, rather than a defensive tool or a defensive mechanism at this point. You see once again a rotation out of Sol going for a defensive rotation. Trying to get 2 bases at the same time, I think is an ill-advised decision here. Probably should just be wanting to keep one of these 5th bases alive, rather than taking 2 very ambitious bases and not being capable of defending any of them. Here we have this Liberator. I'm not sure what zone this Lib is defending, but it's not quite working out. A lot of SCVs are gonna go down as the Liberator defends this base adequately, semi-adequately. I think this should be a lift. I mean, you can't seriously suspect or expect this thing to go up, can you? You have another round of DTs now heading towards this base. Should not be able to get it. Oh, actually, there's a couple more DTs coming from the right. And with that blink in, he definitely is going to be able to get it. Or, well, yeah, he's going to be able to get it. But at what cost here? As a lot of these DTs are going down, all of a sudden, Spirit perhaps has a little bit of momentum behind him. He catches a lot of these DTs. That was not a good trade for Drogo. Drogo still moving forward. I think Spirit needs to go now. It's exactly what he is doing. Ghost, Marine, Marauder moving in. Liberator sent back home for the defense. Once again, command center not being lifted or being evacuated. See Drogo immediately pulling away his workers. Who is that a kind of a low income at this point? As the resources lost have evened up somewhat. Very unfortunate. Spirit not realizing that there still is a base here on the left. Of course, only has 5 workers, and this is kind of scary here for Drogo, honestly, because the fact that he kept all of his workers alive is a big deal. Still needs to be careful. Good scan here out of Spirit. Needs to start sending these, these Liberators over to kind of get a free retreat there. And that's exactly what he's aiming for right now. Managed to actually get them across the map, and now can start thinking about pushing forward. What a comeback this would be. What a comeback this would be. Oh, goes for a lift up. He's gonna go into the main base, blink forward. Drogo's gonna be able to get 2, 3, no, just 2. 2 of them Liberators. His main base is, well, seems to be pretty toast at this point. I think we should take the ramp, no? Take the ramp in the back? Hello? The ramp? We don't care about the ramp? Spirit? 5 Liberators, 2 of them attacking this, 1 attacking the Cybernetics core. I think if we take the ramp, we... Oh, well, that disruptor shot definitely is going to hit. That is a big hit as well. A lot of the production is going down, but this army just kind of managed to walk up the ramp. You do get some free EMPs, but... okay, he's going to try to snipe the Tempest. This is kind of obvious that it isn't going to work. 3-3, 3-2-2, 1 upgrade here for Spirit against the 3-3 of Drogo. And Drogo's taking a pretty decent fight here. Still 84 army supply here for Spirit. That's honestly, these upgrades are just kind of bad positions. EMP with the +2 is of course helping in one-shotting a lot of these Stalkers. If they don't have any shields and you have +2 ship weapons, you'll always be able to one-shot, which is a big deal. Same time we have a Liberator harassing a little bit over here as well. Income is relatively close, and it's funny that this base might actually be the one that kind of saves Drogo here. I mean, it doesn't have a lot of workers right now, but there's still 62 workers somehow. A lot of them, I guess, on the natural. Some workers could be sent to this base, and all of a sudden you have a lot of mining as your Drogo. And now I think Spirit actually is in a decent amount of trouble. You have what? 7? Yeah, 7 Immortals. 8 Immortals even. 13 Stalkers. And we have a single Tempest. 3 more Colossi on the way as well. The only thing really lacking at this point here for Spirit, for Drogo is major anti-air, right? Like we don't have enough Stalkers really. The problem is for Spirit is that he doesn't have an army that can move forward. Like you can just move into 8 Immortals. It is simply not possible. So I'm curious to see what Spirit's plan is here. For now, it's just going to be sitting on these 2 mining bases, which are mining with a lot of mules. How many orbitals do we have? We have 2 orbitals left. 1 planetary here on the left side. These mineral patches should be running dry pretty soon as well. Mine's going to be largely useless at this point. But we have a You have a Disruptor. Should be... Well, Disruptor still should be capable of taking care of that. Now a single Tempest will be able to kind of force the fight. And that's the beauty. That's the beauty of the Tempest. Is that if you have such a large ground army that your opponent really can't attack into you. With a single Tempest, you can force a lot. Yep. I think Drogo just really can't believe that there's no 5th base, right? Drogo has been on, what, 6 bases? 7 bases, even, maybe. You could say, well, this is technically 6. Slightly oversaturated. Should really send a couple of workers over here. Maybe he doesn't want to reveal the fact that he has that base. Ooh, nice move command here. He's gonna lose a couple of units for free. Drogo, that is. We have a couple of zealots here on the bottom side as well, which will be able to spot this orbital the moment it flies over. Spirit still staying in, staying strong, saying, hey, if I can max out, if I can get a big army, and I can get a position on you, maybe it's possible. And maybe it is. Gets a scan, sees triple Tempest. That's an issue, because the moment higher Tempest numbers start arriving, these Liberators just become so much weaker. Now we're going to see a siege up on top of those units. None of these Disruptor shots really hit. As the Vikings do a good job pushing away these Tempests. Tempest now once again moving forward, trying to fight against them Vikings. There is some vision here with the Watchtower, which is obviously helping. Spirit deciding to go in, but can't really. This army is just slightly too powerful, I think. Just slightly too powerful. Zealots on the bottom side still denying this base. We have a top base being taken as well. I'm surprised we're not seeing this this 8-patch goal in action. As we might see a Tempest fall here. Yep, that's going to be 1 dead Tempest. That's going to be 2 dead Tempest even. 3 Tempests do remain, but 2 more on the way. And these trades are not great for Sol, because he's losing more than his... Oh my god. Big move command there into the... a move command perhaps even. Into the Colossus army, and it's just gonna lose Spirit a lot of crap. That does make things very difficult. That does make things very difficult. Okay, this army. What can you still do with it? Well, in reality, I think not a whole lot, but Spirit still believes in his chances here. So now, once again, Drogo moving forward with these Tempest. Wants to fight, but is too afraid to fight, and actually doesn't really need to fight. It just feels like he wants to, more so than he needs to. Slowly but surely also rebuilding his production, by the way. We're getting a Dark Shrine back. I feel like one of the main reasons he's building so many Tempests is because his Stargates just stayed alive. He's like, oh, whatever. Whatever production facility I have at this point, I guess I'll just use. Still have, what, 2, 3 Robos, double Stargate, and 5 Gateways. So as many big tier production facilities as we have gateways in this game. It's kind of fun. 4 lips being pumped out at the same time as Spirit still trying to harass a little bit with Liberators left, right, and center. Still hasn't found that bottom left side base. Very odd, because these two are so close. I feel like a single drop really could do something here. At least force something to go there. And the Vikings have so much damage output against these Tempests. Tempest real glass cannony. That's fun to see. Refinery does get taken out by the fire. We don't need no water. Let the refinery burn. Ay, ay, ay. Alright. Tempests are gonna be shooting at these Liberators long range, and I think this might just be it, as Drogo just kind of moves forward. Well, a lot of these Colossi actually do end up falling, and this fight was really poor. Once again, Spirit making it a little closer than I feel like it really should be, or perhaps Drogo making it a little closer than it really should be. So we have a couple of Medevacs making it out alive. Somehow during this fight, by the way, something happened. I think it is this drop, and I think it might have been a Liberator somewhere as well. I see 4 Stalkers here, which is kind of suspicious. Makes me believe that actually a lot of workers have gone down during all of this. Now, Drogo still is up. Okay, he's up in army. He has a really nice, big-looking army. There's a lot of air units for Spirit here that are kind of useless, but I think we might actually have a game. Look at the worker count. Worker count insanely close at this point. That single Tempest is going to be pretty important against the Liberators. There's just not a whole lot of money right now. Look at the money. The income is actually in favor for the first time here for Spirit. This bottom base is putting in some real work and needs to be taken out ASAP. This is the most important thing. Single Marine here with 5 kills. Not quite sure how he got them. Not quite sure if I want to know how he got them. Liberators now moving towards the bottom side. Good awareness of the game. Good game sense here out of Spirit. Realizing, hey, something funky is going on here. I need to probably start sieging up. Is going to walk into a single Tempest. Might be able to just take that out before anything really happens. These Immortals need to be EMP'd and then need to start getting attacked. Oh my god, this is one hell of a fight. Marines need to be so careful. That single Colossi still has a lot of damage output as well. Viking in the back is now flying forward. It seems like Drogo does win this fight. And with that fight, if it takes down this base, that's pretty much the income here for Spirit. And the moment Spirit loses this income, I've said it about 5 times, but this game should really be over at this point. I really do believe it should be over at this point, yeah. Workers are gonna go down. Once again, we have a base trading move, but this time without Liberators, this time without proper air support, and I don't think this army can quite achieve what that previous army managed to achieve. A full pullback, well, a full pullback it will achieve, but I think this time there won't be a good engagement. There won't be a lot of production taken out. I'm not even sure if he can take out this pylon before he dies. Double EMP is going down on the entirety of Drogo's army, but I just don't think the damage output is here. 2 ghosts go down, the rest of the army goes down, GG gets called, and Drogo wins here on Pride of Altaris.